this and see what we think. Might be terrible. Ooh. That's good. I really want to try the crust.
Oh man. That's so good.
What do you think about the crust?
I like it. Was this crust made with wheat berries? I have so much flavor.
It does, don't it?
So this is some apple pie that Katie made that we're we're eating real quick before we do our update. And we, a long time ago, Mom bought wheat berries to grind and make fresh flour. We did it once or twice and just didn't really have time and one of those things. But then Katie's been doing that until this pie crust is made with the fresh flour. It's an apple pie, and this is so good. It's just really making me get into the fall season.
The crust is good. It has more flavor. The last time I made this recipe, and this is honestly just store-bought pie filling. I could make it from scratch, but shame on me, I didn't. But the last time I made it, I bought a Bob's Red Mill pie crust mix. I mean, it was gluten-free. I wasn't exactly trying to go for gluten-free, but I just thought I would try the pie mix because it had all the correct measurements of flour and baking powder and all that stuff. So what I did is I just put that mix into a food processor and cut in the butter and then rolled it out pretty much. Actually added ice water too. Made it into a ball, pressed it out, refrigerated it, got it out, and made a pie with it. And it was good, it was, but the crust pretty much had no flavor, like at all. And this crust doesn't have a whole lot of flavor, but
I think it,
it's got more.
It does.
It's got more than that one. And then
I think it has a lot of flavor.
With the wheat berries, so that's an update. Mom had bought those, that's been a while ago, and made loaf bread in the oven.
That was good.
And it was really different, but it was really good. So then we thought, I kind of started thinking, well, what could I do with those wheat berries? Just looking for more, like, I guess, a more nutritional source of flour and food in general. And so I thought about Miss Cindy's bread recipe. And so I thought, what if I ground the flour and replaced the white all-purpose flour and then the whole wheat flour? What if I replaced that in the recipe and then just did all of this? So I did that, I think that was a few days ago for the first time, and I was like, wow, this is pretty good. And then I did it, I made another loaf this morning, and then I ground enough flour to make this pie with. And I thought, well, what if I did that pie recipe that I did again, but did it this time with this flour? So I looked up online just a pie crust recipe that I liked. Used it. It was really easy. One thing I will say that was very interesting about this, yeah, that crust does have some flavor.
That's really good.
It's really not bad. One thing I will say about when I got the flour ground, I added my butter, my salt, and the sugar and something else, whatever. What I'm driving at here is the consistency. Once I got it like into a dough, got it out of the food processor and started I can't just not talk today. And started working it. It was really interesting. It wasn't super like gritty and fall aparty and like crumbly and chunky. It really held together nice. It was a very substantial. I was like, whoa, I was not expecting this. And usually the whole point of pie crust and pastries is a light flaky. I get that. But this just, I don't know, the consistency was different, and I really liked it, and it was very easy to work, stuck together good. It wasn't like the times that I've used just white all-purpose flour. This was just a really nice, like, even when I was making it, I was like, this is going to be good. This is very substantial, easy to make. Then I just refrigerated it for a little while, got it out, made the pie. So that's an update. That is one update for me. I'm working with grinding the wheat berries and making the fresh flour as needed for whatever I'm going to make. So I've had fun doing that. But there's, I know there's that kind of flour, but then there's also a flour, and I should have looked up how to pronounce this before we started filming this, and I didn't, so I'm going to look stupid. But it's like E-I-N-K-O-R-N, is it inkhorn? I don't know how you pronounce that, but it's like a sort of an ancient type flour. Is it a grain that you could grind? I mean, I guess it would be, but
yeah,
do
I
you
guess
buy
it
it already
would be,
ground?
but you can buy it already ground. And so I was trying to find a bread machine recipe for it. So if anyone knows anything about that flour or a bread machine recipe for that, or just has you know, like a good bread machine recipe using a kind of better, more nutritional flour, let us know.
Yeah, you could see about getting that flour and then using Miss Cindy's recipe.
Yeah.
Miss Cindy's bread recipe has oats in it, like a little bit of oatmeal.
Half a cup of oatmeal.
Not too much, right? So,
but I've been making her recipe in my bread maker too, and it's really good. Of course, homemade bread tastes better. It's better for you, and we're just trying to do a little better. I feel like I did real good with nutrition before I got pregnant, and then it's just somewhat survival, and I feel like I didn't eat. I ate good when I was pregnant, but just maybe not as good as before. So now I'm trying to clean it up, is what I'm trying to say. So other updates, like the first thing that we want to talk about is our cousin April. So you may have seen the community post that we made recently. She's, I don't know, about 30 weeks pregnant, like maybe a little over, but she thought that her water broke. And she went to the hospital, and praise the Lord, it had not broke. So that is wonderful. But just keep praying for her, because that's just really scary, and she's been sick a lot while she's been pregnant, and it's just a lot.
Pregnancy.
It's kind of been hard. So just keep praying for her, and we just appreciate all the prayers. We got lots of comments on that.
Oh, yeah.
And,
well,
definitely.
and she has a 1.5-year-old too, so
Yeah.
that's
So
a lot to try to.
She got a lot, and her husband's in med school, and
He's about to leave again for another
so
month.
she's kind of got a lot on her plate.
Go do
so
some work somewhere.
Keep her in your prayers, and we appreciate all the prayers, because we got a lot of comments on that.
Right. Binks, update on Binks. He is okay. I can see now where he got bit. So some of you know that, some of you don't know. He got snake bit. He got bit by a copperhead, and he puffed up, he swelled up, and it was about 10 o'clock one night by the time I figured out what was going on. And I was like so worried. I was like, this cat's gonna die, and there's nothing I can do for him. You know, the closest emergency vet is it's like an hour away, and I was like, I can't take him in the middle of the night. Ira will not sleep through the night. I have to wake up and nurse him multiple times through the night. So I'm like, I just can't make this happen. And I will say, Binks, he was acting kind of funny, kind of like twitchy, sniffy, you know, like allergy-like. But he was just, he did seem like, I'm like, well, he's breathing okay. He just started swelling, you know.
Right.
He got bit like right on the edge of the foot, and so his foot swelled up his arm, and it started coming up into his shoulder, and I was like, oh Lord, this cat's gonna die, and I'm just not in a place that I can.
And when you messaged me,
because I don't want nobody to be like, why didn't you take him to the vet? And I'm like, I just couldn't.
No,
I can't do that with a 5-month-old
No,
that I have to nurse 4 times a night. I just couldn't do it.
Absolutely, I know how that is. And then I looked at the message. I had went to bed, but when I woke up, it was maybe 2 or 3 to feed Woody a bottle. I looked at that message and I thought, oh no. I thought, oh gosh.
I just thought he's gonna die.
I was so afraid, and I was telling Katie, I'm like, I think he's fine. And I was praying for him, but I thought that cat is dead. I was like, that cat is... But, then I did a quick Google search, and the internet said that cats were twice as likely to survive that than dogs. And we had a dog who got bit in the face twice by a copperhead, and she survived.
And she was a very small dog.
And she was a very small dog.
Dad actually had a dog that got bit by a rattlesnake and survived. But Dad said he swelled up pretty badly, pretty severely, but he survived. So it was just one of those things. It was a freak thing, a freak accident. And I think probably one of the reasons that he did recover very quickly probably was because of where he got bit. It was just like
barely on the...
And I knew, because he was limping, so that's how I was able to identify, what was going on. But we found the snake. We killed the snake. It's dead. We don't have to worry about that. And, I'm not a big proponent of killing anything that's not, like, spiders and stuff. I'm like, if they're not deadly, they're not dangerous, then what's the big deal? Just leave them be. But I don't like having poisonous snakes around, because we have had repeat visitors. We have had snakes that hang around. And I think they do it because we have a chicken lot. I think they do it because at one time, I think there was a larger mouse population here, which there's not now, because of Binks.
Right,
but
yeah.
He's okay. For everybody who asked, he was fine. And I checked on him, I kept an eye on him and just kept watching him. And the next day, I really kept an eye on him just to check his behavior to see if it was normal to him.
Yeah,
and he's back doing his usual
thing.
extreme mania. You can probably see the apple tree behind us. It's now his favorite thing to go just as far as he can get up into it, like out to the little limbs that don't even hardly support him. And he can come down.
Bending him over.
It's not very graceful, but he can come down. He won't fall.
Gosh.
Happy Binks is okay. Granny's doing pretty good. We just had some family come in. Granny was very excited about it. So it would be Granny's niece. Mary is Granny's niece, but so Granny was one of the youngest out of her family, and her sister Faye was the oldest. And so Faye's daughter Mary was actually Granny's age. So they got to come in, and we don't see that family too much, so we were so excited.
That was really nice.
It was a very special treat. Mama cooked something, and we all just really enjoyed getting to see them. They loved seeing the boys, and we loved that Granny got to see Mary. That was so special.
Really special.
We loved seeing Mary.
That was just, it was so sweet and special, and it was interesting too because
Well, Woody,
yeah, so Woodrow, so that Mary's dad, that's who we named Woody after. So that was
Granny's brother-in-law.
Yeah, Granny's brother-in-law. So that was neat for them to get, so for her to get to meet him, and then her son, which is Woodrow's grandson, that was cool. So they got to meet, Woodrow, and that's who we named him after. So that was really neat for them.
Mm-hmm. That was sweet. That was exciting.
I mean, it was neat for us too, but I think that they thought it was neat. So that was cool.
Yeah. See, what else has been going on?
One thing that I can think of, and there will be a video coming about it at some point, is, there's little things that we want to do, me and Austin, to our house still, just little projects. There was a project at the old house that if we were still there, I'm glad we're not, but that we
would have got
done.
around to.
Right. But there's just, little projects at the house here that we want to do, and one of them was just replacing the toilet, and there's a little bitty half bathroom in our bedroom, and the toilet rocked really bad. And the floor was just kind of old, so we wanted to replace the floor, replace the toilet. So we did that. That's done at this point in time. But now we've talked to someone about getting a custom top for the countertop, because that countertop is tiny. It's like a really strange, like, angled vanity because the space is so small. So we figured it would be probably pretty feasible to get maybe like a custom quartz one, because it's like this. It's tiny.
And then what the sink takes up, so then it's like hardly anything.
Yeah, so
any material.
We're kind of in the process of that, but there will be a video about that. But I think I want to wait until we have the countertop in to finish the whole video. Also, though, another update is we actually had other friends come in over this past weekend. Speaking of visitors, and we got to see them. We got to see their new baby, and we actually filmed some music. So that will be coming out later, like in a couple days.
Yeah,
from
maybe.
This video.
We were so excited because the last time we saw them, they were about to get married. They hadn't got married yet. It's funny, I actually made their wedding rings. But it was so fun, since they had the baby. You're getting a phone call.
Okay, hold on one second.
We'll be back.
Hey.
Okay, we're back. Austin called to tell us that he was going to rob a bank, and he wanted to know if we wanted any free money.
And we said, yeah.
We said, sure, we want the free money. No, I'm joking. Yeah, so we were super excited to see our friends, because the last time that we saw them, none of us had a baby. None of us were pregnant. None of us had a baby, and it's
now
so.
We all got babies.
Oh, it was so fun to see another little baby and talk about it, and talk about what is your experience, and what was your birth like,
cool.
and what's what did your baby sleep through the night, and just kind of that. It's almost like everybody loves babies, but until you have your own, then you become interested in all this. Does your baby do this? Does your baby sleep? Does your baby spit up a lot? Does your all of these specific things, because you're just excited about babies and what's coming next. Like, have you done solid food? What was your experience with that? When did your baby start walking?
Yeah.
So we had a great time. We did manage to play a little bit of music. I will say I'm just pretty rusty out of practice.
Me too.
It's like me and you can pick our instruments up, and it'll be sometimes like we never, like
Sometimes.
I'm more in practice, but then when I really see my sore need for practice is when I'm with other people.
Yes,
That's when it sticks out.
That's what
I'm
I was
like,
thinking.
can't keep up.
I was actually editing that video earlier today, and that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh man, I'm just not on my game. Like, some of the songs that we were playing that I didn't really know, they're easy enough that I could follow along, but I'm just out of practice, so I'm like not on my toes, and I was just making like stupid mistakes. But
Some of them I just literally don't know. There's a lot of fiddle tunes that are probably really popular tunes that are played in every music circle we would be in, that, to be 100% honest, I just never learned, and the reason is because, and what can I say, I'm picky, and if it's not got the certain flair, I'm like, I don't really care to play it. I'll just sit this one out. It doesn't have the oomph. If it don't have the oomph, I didn't care to spend the time learning it. And there's plenty of them on my personal definition, Katie's personal mental definition of oomph. It just ain't there. So I'm like, I don't really care to play this. I should learn it just so I could be a part of things. But I'm like, I don't really care to just sit here and not play because it's lacking the oomph.
It's lacking the oomph.
I do miss playing though, but honestly, no joke. I'm like, what little free time I've got, I have to spend working. I have to spend filling orders. I can't just pick my fiddle up and play for fun and then be like, oh, well, crap. I was only going to sleep a total of an hour today, and that was the hour that I would have had to fill some of y'all's orders, so I just can't. But I'm going to get back to a place where...
Speaking of orders, though.
Right, so if you're waiting on something from me, I'm going to get it to you. I've got some messages that I've just not got around to. I see them all. Every single one that comes in, I see it. Sometimes it just takes me a while to get back to you, especially if you're looking for something specific, a certain stone, a certain thing that I need to try to track down. Sometimes I have things, sometimes I don't. I have to go to some of my stone dealers and start looking for stuff. But Halloween is upon us, so I'm starting the Halloween stuff. I've got pumpkins on my bench right now. I started really early. I started this back in August because I was like, it'll be a miracle if I can pull anything off by Halloween. So I was like, better start early. So it was like mid-August I got going on it. So maybe by the time this video comes out around the same time, I'll already have some of the pumpkins in my shop. The funny little jack-o'-lantern faces I make with little mismatched stone eyes, or sometimes they match.
And we'll leave a link in the description to her Etsy shop.
Sure, I love doing the little pumpkins. One interesting thing, and I don't know when they're going to get here. They will get here before Halloween, but it may be a few more weeks. I ordered some stones that are shaped like pumpkins. So just stones themselves that are pumpkins. And they've been kind of carved. They have little lines on them. So I want to make a few necklaces with just these stones in the shape of a pumpkin.
Really pretty.
I even ordered a Christmas tree, one or two, of course, for later on. So I'm trying to, I do miss some of my bench time. I don't, there's weeks where I never go down there and I just don't hardly work at all. Or I only work a little bit. You can hear baby, I'm like, which one of them is it in there that's crying? But I will get back into it eventually full swing. I did manage to get over to my friend Dawn and Michael's this past week. And I'm going actually tomorrow to go see them again. Because it's super fun to see what they're into. They do all the same stuff that I do. So it's awesome to walk in their shop and be like, this is the cabs you're cutting, this is what you're making. I was like, man, if I can't do anything myself, can I just come over here and look at this? Because this is kind of scratching the itch of wanting to look at the rocks. And oh, I'm sorry, I'm yawning. I'm trying to think of anything else update.
I feel like I had things I was going to say. And
I know, me too. I was pretty sure I had something else.
Like, can't think of anything else.
Update sooner than later. The gardens will be done. They're almost done. And those deer alarms will be gone.
Oh my gosh, those alarms that are going off right now drive
they just annoy me.
But
also, speaking of
they've
deer,
been effective, so I am thankful.
Yes, and then that's just what we have to remind ourselves of. Deer season, bow season here opened Saturday.
Yeah, Austin is
raring to go. Dad is raring to go. I'm gonna mention this here, but I'm gonna definitely say there's no promises. But I have been shooting the crossbow. I've been practicing a little bit with it, and if I can pull it off, Dad's got a place for me to hunt. I put my safety harness on. I climbed up in the tree. I hooked my harness to the tree. I sat down. I looked at all that. So if it's at all possible for me to hunt with the crossbow here in bow season just real shortly, I'm going to. I've been practicing. I feel pretty good about it, but I have this horrible, what would you call it, punchy trigger finger. It's not as big of a deal with a crossbow. It would be a terribly big deal with a compound bow. So that's just, they probably can't do that. But something I'm working on. So we'll see. If I don't hit it during bow season, maybe during gun season. When we were really little, we went hunting some. But I just feel like I was so young, I couldn't get a good mental grasp on all the things that I would need to feel, all the things that would line up for me to feel confident about taking a shot. Because if I'm going to shoot at something, I want to feel lethal and deadly to make sure that I can make a good, quick, clean, ethical shot. I don't want to feel, shaky about it. But so I hunted some then. I actually shot at a doe. I'm certain I killed her, but we never found her. And it was a really weird situation. I was standing in a road. We were down in Georgia, and I was standing in a roadbed, and I heard something behind me, and lo and behold, the thing just come out. I mean, and she was probably like 15 yards from us, and was just like looking at us, and I was just waiting for her to bolt and run, but she just kept looking at us and was like, whatever, and just went to eating, and here we are just like standing here moving,
I wasn't there.
I just sat down. There was nowhere for me to shoot, really, no rest or nothing. So I sat down in the road and just used my knee, and I sat in a mud hole. That's what I remember, because it had rained, and it's just nothing but red clay
You
dirt
sat
there.
down
So
and you thought, oh.
I was like, oh, oops. But, so who knows? Like I said, I'm not going to make no promises, because it's something I would like to do, but Grandma would have to watch baby, and that's tricky when you're breastfeeding and all of that. You got the old ball and chain. You can't go far from them. No,
that's true. No, I know what you mean.
So, baby ball and chain. We'll
Baby
see.
ball
And
and
but if it is something I pull off, then we'll
That would be
definitely.
cool.
It'll be in a video. I mean, at least a picture of me and
Yeah.
whatever I take down. So we'll see.
We eat lots of deer meat, and I mean, it's so good. It tastes so good. It's really healthy, and I'm hoping that maybe Austin will get some deer this year. We'd like to can some, but then also we had so much ground meat from the processor that we fed our dog, fed Olive for like a year with that ground meat, and then we ran out. So we have no more ground deer meat, and I've been having to buy ground turkey and ground beef from the store to feed her. So that'd be cool to get some ground meat again.
I've actually am thinking about doing this. I'm not big on organ meat. Like, I've just never ate organ meat from pretty much any animal. But I'm considering it this year. I'm thinking about asking Dad if he'll cut the liver out of one of those deer and let me eat it.
Could. Organ
just to
meat
see.
is very good for you.
It's very nutritious. It's very rich in minerals.
Gross, but
Huh?
That's it.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, I don't know. It's a gross thought somehow. But I know people make what do they call it? Well, out of the liver, starts with a P. I don't know, whatever it is. But they make something out of it. Yeah, something kind of like that, I think. So, and I'm thinking too, as far as baby food goes, I'm thinking about something nutritious that would be good for Ira. And so I'm thinking about meat. We live next to a cattle farm. I'm like, I'm going to come down here and buy steak and put it in the food processor, puree it. I mean, that's something I'm doing a lot of research on too, as far as the most nutritional food I could possibly feed him, because it's, we're pushing time on to start solid food, and I want to give him the most nutritious thing I can give him,
as far as
which
meat,
will be protein and fat. So.
Right, exactly. As far as meat goes, I want people to comment below about meat. If you've ever got meat from online, there's ranch. What is it? There's something ranch. There's Butcher Box. There's different stuff, and we buy some meat locally, and then sometimes just from the grocery store, like the organic meat. But I know online, like Thrive Market, and we have a subscription with them, and there's a lot of subscriptions with really clean meat places, but that seems so weird to buy meat off the internet. And then I'm thinking, what if it ships to your house and it's spoiled, or what if you eat it and you don't know it's spoiled and it makes you sick? I just want to know if anyone has any experience with getting meat offline.
I'm a big Brasstown beef fan.
Well, yeah, definitely, and I'm for beef, sure, but then what about chicken? And just being 100% honest, it would just be easier to order something online and just have it come to my house than it would be to, with the baby, figure out who can watch the baby, where I can go get it, or not talking about if I were to go and say to a local place, hey, I want to buy this much of a cow at one time. So I don't know. I just want people to comment below if you have any experience of buying meat off the internet. Would you recommend it? Is it just too crazy of a thing to do?
You need to go down to the farm store here.
Yeah.
Buy you a steak. That is one cool thing about there is the cattle farm that we live next to. They butcher their cattle and sell the meat. And actually, I don't think they butcher them, but they have somebody butcher them, whatever. And they have their meat in the store down here. And sometimes when I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to eat, I just go down there and buy some beef, because times it's not froze. So then there it is, and it's better than going to the grocery store. They have chicken. I'm not sure where they get the chicken from.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you told me that.
And they have pork. Now, they have their own pigs. They're not here. I think they're in Franklin. They sell their own sausage. They have their...
I need to go and
cuts of pork.
Check that out. What else are we going to say? I feel like... Oh, we could update on the boys. The boys are doing good. Woody is just...
He's so cute.
He's getting so big. He's growing so fast.
He is getting big.
But he is doing good. He's just getting to where he can kind of talk and interact. And I say talk, but just kind of goo and coo, and
but definitely social.
But definitely more social.
You can see that he's understanding, people are communicating with him.
He's so sweet, and he's growing so fast. He honestly is pretty much outgrown his bassinet, and so we got the crib. We got
Ira's first crib.
And he slept in that. I think last night was.
How'd that go? Go pretty good.
It went good, but then I looked over there at some point, and we've got him in a sleep sack, and it's so funny when he sleeps. He will at various points during the night pull his legs up towards his body in that sleep sack, and then just send them down really fast.
Hey, buddy.
Speaking of babies,
We're looking. There's a window right here, and Mama's got Ira up.
Hey, can you see us?
Looking out the window. Hey, Ira.
He's like looking kind of confused.
Is he misbehaving? He's getting tired. Better wrap this up.
Yeah, we better
hey,
wrap this up.
buddy.
But anyways, they're doing good. So when I looked in the crib, though, I could see his feet, even in that sleep sack, like trying to come out of the rungs of the crib. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Ira would do that. He'd get his arm or his leg jacked out. He could get it back in. Hey, buddy, what you doing? Hey,
He's
Ira.
so cute. He's just looking.
He's just looking at me through the window like, but you're close, but you're not.
But you're not.
But you're not.
Yeah.
Definitely babies outgrow everything so quickly. It's hard to believe how fast they do. And
Woody is in 6 months. Like, I ordered some stuff from Amazon, and it's 6 months. Okay, for reference, he's not 3 months yet, and I'm like, you're gonna get to wear this another week.
I'm not gonna lie.
He's
gonna surpass Ira very quickly. He's like not far off from Ira's weight.
I'm like, are you gonna be like your Uncle Will and be 6'4" and
He may be
250, 280?
Ira is doing good. He can say hey.
That's so cute.
Grandma told him to say hey. And sometimes, for a long time, he would just say it back to you after you said it first. But now he'll say it first. He looked at Woody earlier and he went, hey. That's how he says it. He's like, hey.
Just recently, they've like interacted. There was just like a week ago when I think Ira, when he really could see Woody. And I think Woody can kind of see him too, but he's not really at that point yet. But I seen it in Ira's eyes when he latched on to Woody and realized, wait a second. It was so sweet.
It was very exciting. So both healthy, both strong. Ira's incredibly strong. It's hard to believe sometimes. I'm like, good Lord. I had him actually on the swing. I think it was yesterday evening. He loves Binks, and he loves being outside. And if I come sit on the porch like this, I'm surprised Binks isn't right here right now. Any length of time, and up the steps he comes, and he comes to see me. I had him standing him up, looking at him, bouncing him like this, and he headbutted me, and I thought my nose was going to bleed. It hurt so bad. My eyes watered. I just had to sit for a minute. So he's very strong, and he's at that point now where you got to be careful because you'll get your face busted easily. He'll just headbutt. He's going to be a biter because he bites now, and he does like to headbutt. He's just, what can I say? He's rough as a cob.
He really
brutal.
is.
So Mom's like, good Lord, he's so rough for his age, you know? She's like, he is all boy.
And
I'm like, I know.
He is, and he's strong. He was like that, though, honestly, from day one.
He has baby ab muscles. I've seen him.
He does, yeah. He's really long and lean, and
like narrow.
And Woody is just like a big marshmallow.
He is. It's very cute.
Woody's kind of barrel-chested. He's a little bit wide in the chest.
It's very cute.
Very cute. Is there anything else we were going to say?
One thing I'm going to allude to, because, again, it's just like I always have these fun little things going in my mind. Crafts and projects and things I want to do, and I'm always over-ambitious, but I'm super over-ambitious now that I have our man to take care of. But I do, if it works out, it's nothing to allude to. It's not very exciting, but there may be something cool, seasonal, some sort of crafty thing that I have up my sleeve, seasonal kind of thing that I want to do. So if it works out, this is me alluding to this new seasonal craft that I want to do that I think would be fun, something different, something fun that I've never done before. And if it doesn't work, well, nobody's missing nothing. It won't matter. So possibly in the next couple weeks, keep your eye out for something different, because I'll make a video about it if I get the supplies ordered and figure out when to do it, how to do it. I think I could figure out how, but it'd be when.
Yeah.
Just be something fun and enjoyable to do.
And we're excited for fall coming. I mean, here it's still going to be hot this whole month. It's possible that it'll be hot next month, but sometime next month it will start cooling
It's
off.
already, you can tell, the sour woods on the bank start turning red. They're red.
I seen goldenrod when I drove out to the post office.
Leaves start falling. They fell. Wind kind of, I don't know, I call it the warm September wind. It's kind of
like just starting.
And the position of the sun, it starts getting further back.
And part of me is like so excited, but another
I'm
part of me is
stoked.
like, no, I love summer.
Because you wanted to do all these things this summer, and I did
know,
too.
yeah.
But I'm
Well, we
like,
had babies.
that ship has sailed.
We had babies.
I'm not doing that stuff. On to the next thing. Right.
We did the best, most important thing we could do this summer is have babies.
Right. Well, Ira was a spring baby, but
That's true. Woody was like smack in the middle.
I'm looking forward to fall because I want to do all of the fun fall things, but I want to do them with Ira. And
I know. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. And thinking about this being the boys' first Christmas, it's
that's
just
very exciting.
I'm so excited.
It'll be the best Christmas ever.
I'm so excited for that.
I'm excited for fall because that'll mark a year since I've owned Binks, since I've tamed him and kept him. This time last year, yeah, so this time last year he was hanging around, but I didn't have him tame enough to come into the basement. It was Thanksgiving. It was the night before Thanksgiving that he spent his last year that he spent his first night in the basement.
Oh.
So at this point, I saw him around and I could see him outside, and I was feeding him outside, but he was not inside the basement. I couldn't get him in yet. So night before Thanksgiving will be the anniversary of the first night he spent in the basement. What I would do is I'd let him stay in there at first, and we would play and stuff, and then at nighttime I'd kick him out. And I always hated it and shut the door and knock him out. But I mean, he spent every night outside until he met me.
Oh yeah, he was okay. I mean, he'd be okay now. Cats can fend for themselves.
We'll have to at some point, maybe not in this video, but we will at some point. I've got some pictures of Binks when he was really little, and it's real cute. I'll dig them up, find them, and put them.
And I need to share a picture of Olive. People have been asking about her. We hadn't had her on the channel in a long time, but she's doing good. She's just laying around per usual, but she's doing good.
Is that Uncle Austin out here?
I think that's Uncle Austin.
Well, we're going to wrap this up so you can Woody go home. I'll go in here. Probably time to put Ira to sleep. Mama said he was sleepy. Hope we covered everything in this update.
I think so. I don't think that there's anything else I can think of.
No, I don't think so either. I'm excited about this pie recipe. I'm going to do it again a time or two and maybe work on it. And then I might make a video about just how I ground the wheat, where to get the wheat berries from, and just the pie recipe.
It's really good.
It's pretty basic. I mean, you can pretty much I've used this flour just as like I would have in any other normal recipe. Right. And I kind of mix and match. Sometimes I just make the crust different, and then I just do the filling for whatever recipe. So I see somebody coming out with a small child. All right. Well, thank you for watching. God bless you. God keep you. And we'll catch you at the next one.
See you on the next one.
Bye, guys. Bye.